Have you ever wondered why some people in the world are born so poor, and on the other hand, some people are born so rich? Have you ever wondered why some babies are born with illness and others are fine? Do you ever wonder why life seems so unfair? To many people, there is a logical reason behind this. It's called reincarnation. Reincarnation is the concept where the mind or the spirit is reborn when the physical body has died. The mind can be reborn as a new human being or into various other states, depending on the causes created by the previous life. According to Buddhism, where reincarnation is core to the philosophy, whatever we are suffering in this life is caused by our previous actions, whether in this life or our previous lives. Hence the disparity in our various states of being. Now, is there scientific proof of reincarnation? Or do only those who are religious believe in it? Here are the opinions of several experts in their respective fields.
The studies on reincarnation was pioneered by a psychiatrist. It's the late Dr. Ian Stevenson from the University of Virginia. So Dr. Ian Stevenson has collected more than 2,500 cases of children with spontaneous past life recall. When I say spontaneous, I mean that children who spontaneously, without other intervention, not through dreams, not through hypnosis, not through other methods, will just recall their past life. So a typical case will involve for children around the age of 2 to 4, and they started to make statements about their past life. So they may say things like, "Mommy, you're not my mom, you're not my dad," and they make statements referring to their past life. And typically they will demand their parents to bring them back to the past life. So Dr. Ian Stevenson actually focused a lot of research on these cases, and they actually went through the verification, but they tried to verify the facts. So they bring the child back to the past life. Of course, all the facts, they will list out all the facts, and they'll verify the facts one by one. And the more convincing part is not only the memory. Often these children will also have birthmarks or birth defects which corresponded to the injuries in their past life that killed them. And of course those will verify as well with the medical and autopsy report. So it's very convincing. And these cases are all published in medical journals.
I think the name that people use these days is Freethinker. And my belief system covers a lot of the religions, but it isn't tied to any particular religion. I do believe in reincarnation. As a healer, I'm looking all the time for the reasons why people have their problems. I don't work with the symptoms, I work with the causes. And over again, I find that the cause of their problem is hidden way back in a previous lifetime. I believe our soul is on a journey that keeps coming round in a cycle to Earth. And on Earth we learn lessons. Every experience we have is an opportunity to learn. And we may see them as a disaster, we may see it as a terrible challenge, we may see it as a terrible setback, but actually it's an opportunity to learn. And as we learn, so our soul, our spiritual energy grows, and wisdom grows. And I believe that we have a physical body and a spiritual body, and it's the two of these together that take the journey on Earth, but the spiritual energy moves beyond us when we die. It actually goes home, if you like, to the other realms where there aren't the challenges of Earth.
In Hinduism, they would say, you can't get existence from non-existence, and existence can't become non-existent. So if it's existence, it's always there. Existence continues. And so at birth, we say this baby has come into existence. But you can't come into existence from non-existence. Existence would have been there, and it's continuing. So what has come into birth is a particular form, the shape of the baby. But it existed prior, possibly in another form, or possibly in a form that we can't physically see. And the same with death. We continue to exist. In fact, I don't think religions disagree on this. I think whether we talk about the three main religions of Islam and Christianity, they believe that we exist after death. They may not say we have another lifetime, but if you say we live in heaven, then we still continue. Our existence continues. So there's no contradiction there from within all the religions. So from a very logical point of view, if we are born with inequalities, it can't be that the Lord favors some and doesn't favor some. Because when you talk about God, He's all compassionate, He's all loving, and He sees us all as His children. So how would you say that He's partial? So we can't blame the inequality we see at birth to the Lord. So it would have to be some other cause, is actions that we have done in the past that have bearing consequences.
The driving force of me believing in reincarnation is because of what I see, the inequality in life. There must be something. In Buddhism, it is taught that reincarnation exists, but it is not by sheer chance. How we are today, how everyone are today, is based on previous actions. Not just reincarnations found in the Buddhist faith. You can also watch documentary of people of different races, different religion, different culture, who have also claimed to have remembered their past life. It's not a religious thing. It's just normal people who can recollect their past lives. Like that, there's a whole lot more for me to believe in reincarnation than not to believe.
I personally do not have any experiences of past life recollections, and my only frame of reference, right, for my belief would be actually my observation and belief in my guru, who is a reincarnate Rinpoche. From my observations, yeah, of the special qualities of my guru, certainly I believe that he did not acquire all his special attributes only in this present life.
I had the opportunity to meet my now current guru, His Eminence Samtuku Rinpoche, and that's when I started to see for myself beings who can actually recollect their previous lives. Not only His Eminence Samtuku Rinpoche, also His Eminence Samtuku Rinpoche's teacher, the previous His Holiness Song Rinpoche. I heard of this story from my teacher, His Eminence Samtuku Rinpoche himself. Before Song Rinpoche, the previous incarnation, passed away or went into the clear light, what happened was he actually picked his own toys in preparation for his next incarnation to return. And our teacher actually went out with him together to pick those toys. Of course, at that time, my guru didn't know that the purpose of the toys was actually for his teacher in preparation for his next life. So when I heard about this story, I thought, wow, these beings, they don't fear death. They look forward to the next life. It's just like a continuation. There are also other monks similar to His Holiness Song Rinpoche. Before they pass away, they would even write down the date, where, and the names of their parents, whom they will be taking the next rebirth. And these are stories that is very, very common in our lineage of Tibetan Buddhism.
I think it's the very fact that there's no physical proof, and we live in a world where people are given physical proof for virtually everything. We're based on a scientific belief system. If you can prove it, then it's true. If you can't see it or prove it that way, it's not true. That's the material world, I'm afraid. It can be frightening, I think, to some people. I think they find it difficult to believe in anything that isn't physical.
What makes me believe in reincarnation is also the very logical explanation that the Buddhist faith offers. The explanation of how our mind works. Our mind works in this way, just like when you watch a movie, it's frame by frame by frame. So our memory and our existence is recorded in this manner. So example, right now, I'm talking about reincarnation. and I remembered what I had for lunch. But if I were to try to remember what I had for lunch a month ago, the very same day, Monday for example, I am not able to recall. Just because the fact that I cannot remember, does that mean that I didn't exist a month ago? No, it's illogical. Like that, we may not remember our past, but we were there, we did exist at that time. So the explanation about how mind works in Buddhism, in a very simple and very logical way, has helped me to have a very, very clear and strong faith that reincarnation does exist. It doesn't mean that I have forgotten, therefore I did not exist.
I believe that we are made up of energies. There's some form, there's a continuation. Energy cannot be created, energy cannot be destroyed. Plus the mind, the psychological aspect of the mind, it cannot just be nothing.
An important beneficial aspect of understanding that there are future lives that we have to account for is that we need to create the correct actions, right, in order that we are ensured of a good rebirth and not having more suffering, you know. And that itself will improve our immediate present life situations much better, and that we are also accountable for whatever we do right now. And of course, whatever that we are suffering, we also learn from our past lives that is what we have done before, and that resulted in the present life suffering.
If you've got hope and you've got faith that your life goes on, it makes complete sense to everything you go through in this lifetime. So yes, I think it must be dreadful not to have it, but with it, it makes sense, and it means that you've got the belief that when you die, then you're going to move on to another realm, and then you'll come back again. It gives you that more permanent feeling about life, and it gives a purpose to it all. Otherwise, what is the purpose? Why are we just here, maybe to go through a really dreadful lifetime? Well, what's the purpose of that? I don't see how they can give you a good reason for that.
It's one of the ways is it gives people a sense of purpose, that this is not the only life, there's a continuation, so that whatever decisions, whatever aspirations and dreams that people have, they are more long-sighted, they are not just short-sighted and focusing on just now. I think that's a fact. Especially I see, as a psychiatrist, I see a lot of people with anxiety disorders, for depression. So believing in rebirth can help.
For me, the most important thing is, if I know that my death is not the end of me, that if I continue to exist, then it makes me more acutely aware that my present actions will have future ramifications, which I'm not going to escape. You know, if I do something and I die, I might feel, well, I'll escape the consequences, but I'm not going to escape. So even if you talk about it from a very, today's world, we talk about the environment, and you know, we abusing the atmosphere, we dirting the oceans, and we polluting the air, and then you think, well, it doesn't matter, because you know, maximum I'll live another 30 years and I'll die, and then so what? Let whoever has to deal with it, deal with it. But chances are, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to have to deal with it. So even from a very, you know, if you look at it from a very global point of view, what I'm doing to my surroundings, I have to come back and face. But even from a point of view of actions and reactions in terms of the relationships I keep, the attitudes I nurture and encourage, the habits I form, all of these are going to stay with me for a very long time, because they don't end at death. And so it's more a stronger resolve to make sure I do the right actions, I maintain the right attitude, I'm more responsible about my behavior. So, and I think even that, even if we don't believe in reincarnation, if we can find another way to maintain that attitude and outlook, then the purpose would be served.
I live by the fact that reincarnation exists. Because at the end of the day, if I believe in reincarnation, I will be a better person, because I know that this is not the end. Every action counts. Every action is recorded down. So whatever effort I put in to become a better person, it will all contribute towards the whole, to humanity in that sense. To believe in reincarnation is so much more beneficial than not. Anyway, who can prove that reincarnation don't exist? So but by just believing in reincarnation, we all will become more responsible members of society, because we will be more careful with our action towards one another, towards the environment, for example, because it doesn't end here.
To those who believe in it, reincarnation is a law which exists without you necessarily believing in its existence. Are you really convinced that there isn't life after death? Are you so sure? But what if there is? It's something to think about, isn't it?